You know, so much of this stuff. Let's just start with this. How surprised are you Tom's back? Let's start with that.
I'm a little surprised. I'm not over the moon surprised. I mean, I talked to somebody close to him that said, look, with somebody like Tom Brady, you've got to wait maybe 90 days. It turned out it was 40 days, right? And I've said this, they built an ark in 40 days, so why can't he change his mind? But I think Brady, yeah, I don't know if he was, premature and having to retire or how that all went down. It was poorly handled. And so you knew something was going on this weekend when all your sources dry up, Colin. When they go 0 dark 30 on you, it's something's about ready to happen. And I didn't think it was Deshaun Watson, although they were looking into that situation. But it turned out that everybody wanted Tom to have this opportunity to announce it himself. And I mean, we all, had to look at that and 2 or 3 times to say, what am I looking at here? But when you put it together, at the end of the day, the guy's a football player. That's what he does. And he does it better than anybody in the world. And he just led the NFL in passing, 5,317 yards, 43 touchdowns. He's going to want to play football. And I think he realized that at some point, and let the Bucs know probably 3 or 4 days ago. I think they've been pretty much clued into what he was going to do.
I always thought he and Arians were an odd fit, but I didn't think it was the kind of fit that couldn't win. They won a lot. Last year they were 13-4, but I always thought, one a little bit old school. It's odd. One guy's throw it down the field, one guy's driven by efficiency. Are there differences overstated? Is my concern overstated?
Yeah, totally. And in fact, over the summer, or just not over the summer, just since the season ended, Bruce got to a point where he was ticked off about that narrative. I was talking to him about something else, about coaches and replacing coaches, and he texted me and said, hey, I've had enough of this. What do I do? And it was basically, okay, well, debunk the narrative that somehow their relationship had eroded and there was that nonsense about him redlining the game plan and stuff like that. It just didn't happen. Does everybody get along with everybody all the time? I've been married for a while. I don't get along all the time with my wife, but I love her and I'm going to stay married. So I think that, Tom has enjoyed his time here. And from an organizational standpoint, he's close to Jason Light. He knows that they will do everything they can within their power. And they have done that to put him in the best position to win. And he gives them that chance. And so they're going to take it and they'll do it again. And I never believed that he would go somewhere else, Colin. I know we've heard, San Francisco and things like that. Being around Tom in the short time that I've had, he creates edges, right? Like Jordan did. And they passed on him and got Gio Carmazzi to begin with. And then when he was a free agent, he called them. I mean, they approached the 49ers. They thought about it and said no. There was no way in my mind he was going to give the 49ers a third chance to turn him down. And so I think, Jason Light said it. If he's going to play, he was going to play here. And that's what he's decided. All
right, give us an update on Gronk. I thought Gronk looked really good last year. The warm weather, having lived in Tampa for a short time, that warm weather, the bones don't ache nearly as much as they do in New England. Gronk, you think he comes back?
I think he absolutely comes back. I imagine him like in that commercial yelling at his mom, "Where's my football pants?" I mean, I think that's happening. Tom would have called him much the way he called Ryan Jensen. They've gotten him back, for 3 years, $13 million a year. He probably could have gotten 15 on the open market. So you're right. I mean, Rob played some really good football down the stretch.
Yeah.
Now he was beat up. He broke those ribs against the Rams. That was no joke. And I think it reminded him of why he retired in the first place. But he absolutely loves playing for Brady. And I don't think he can say no to Tom. So if Tom is in, I think Gronk will be in real soon.
Yeah, by the way, good point. Ryan Jensen, who's a really top 5 center in the league, has re-signed. So that is a big deal. Finally, Brady's dad said there was this pressure from outside to retire. And as you alluded to, it was a clunky ending. It was out of the blue. He would talk to Jim Gray 2 weeks later and say, well, you never say never. When his dad said outside sources, how do you interpret that? What does that mean?
I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe he had made up his mind that he was going to do it. I don't know that he was ready to announce it. There was really no pressure to have him announce that. And it got out in the media. Jason La Canfora first, and then 20 hours later, Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington pretty much said, no, he's retiring. And then there was a couple days that passed, and you're kind of like, well, okay, why aren't we hearing from Brady? And then he did do it. I don't think it was on his own time or maybe his own terms. I do think he was, ready to do that at the time, but it was just clunky. And I don't know who to blame for that really necessarily. Tom keeps the circle pretty tight, and somebody obviously went outside of it. So I don't really know.
All right, Rick Stroud, Bucs reporter. Tom Brady is officially back, and it's good for us at Fox. With these NFC quarterbacks like Russ going to the other conference, that's not good for our business. Rick, as usual, good seeing you. Great info. Thanks, bud.
Great seeing you, Colin. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.